When Sung Jin-woo first reached the double dungeon, he and his party met a tragic ending, resulting in most of them being completely annihilated. But after sacrificing himself to save the remaining few, he was spared and thus gained the power of a player thanks to a mysterious figure who created a system and systematically chose him as their candidate. The creator of the system is a being called the Architect. But who is the Architect, and what role did he play in the story that allowed Sung Jin-woo to become the hero he is today? Let's dive right in. When Sung Jin-woo reached level 101, he gained a key to another dungeon, the key to Karthanon Temple. Jin-woo doesn't know what he'll expect to see there, but this is a chance to get to know more about his powers. Reaching level 101 allowed his powers to max out, and there was a possibility to gain even more powers to his benefit by visiting the dungeons like he used to do when he was still a newbie to the system. Besides, the system itself is quite intriguing because it's pretty obvious that all hunters except for him are capped at a certain level. But he and his armies aren't. They'll continue to grow beyond what they are capable of right now. However, there's another reason for visiting the dungeon. This is an invitation from the system itself. Back then, he only gets a key to open some low to high level dungeons. But this key is a specific dungeon that will probably give him some legendary items. And there's also the message that he received from Hunter Che. It's all the more reason that he must visit the temple. When Jin-woo revisited the temple, he finally meets the Architect. There, the Architect congratulates Jin-woo for a job well done. Ever since he gained the power of the system, the Architect was always watching him. When Jin-woo has proven that he's more than what the Architect thinks he is, the Architect gives him a final test to overcome. This final test is in the form of a nerfing Jin-woo's bread and butter, his shadow army, and the use of healing items. The accumulation of all his failures and training, as well as his perseverance, was proof of his power. Jin-woo annihilated the guards and even the guardian boss who wiped the floor with his comrades' bodies in the past. After defeating the guards, Jin-woo defeats the Architect as well. But now, it's time to discover the truth from the Architect. The reason why he's there in the first place, and the reason why he's become so much more powerful. If it is not obvious yet, the Architect is the creator of the system. He was the designer of the player leveling system. The Architect was once a highly capable mage working for one of the Monarchs. He's the one who proposed the idea to the Monarchs in exchange for immortality. The system wasn't made to make Jin-woo a powerful hunter. It was created for the sole reason of containing the real Shadow Monarch's power and allowing the Shadow Monarch to reach his full power. The Shadow Monarch needed a strong enough vessel to contain his power and allow his revival. Although he's not dead yet, the Shadow Monarch cannot enter Earth in his true form because he needs a vessel that he can use as his real body. The problem with the Shadow Monarch's power is that it is too great for even the strongest S-rank or national level hunters to hold. The system was created to allow a chosen individual to reach a level past their hunter level cap. Believe it or not, there is a cap to how strong a hunter can be in solo leveling, and Jin-woo, having been double reawakened, is the only one allowed to go past this limit. If we try to quantify the level of most S-rank hunters, a lot of them will probably fall around level 65 up to 80 of Jin-woo's level, with the nation-level hunters probably around 90 to level 95 at most. The Jeju Island raid was the great filter for most of the S-rank hunters, as it allowed us to see how capable most of the introduced S-rank hunters really are, even if they're working as a group. If you want to know more about Jeju Island Arc, you can check out our latest video about it in the description down below. Jin-woo went from level 97 to 100 after that raid, and he didn't really break a sweat defeating Baru. In comparison, most of the S-rank hunters struggle to even survive that raid. So thanks to the system, Jin-woo, as a vessel, is strong enough to contain the Shadow Monarch's true power and allow his second coming. In the past, the Monarchs and their armies were almost defeated by the rulers. If you want to know more about the monarchs and the rulers, check out our latest video about them in the description down below. But back to the point. The monarchs were soundly defeated, so they fled from the dimensional cracks and found their way to Earth. Through their instinctive nature, they sought to destroy it and use the planet as a breeding ground for their armies, allowing them to fight back against the rulers once more. Their plan is to wage war against the rulers for the second time. But they'll need to reinforce themselves using Earth through assured destruction. The rulers won't allow this, so they try to give hunters the power to defend themselves, even if it means that most of humanity won't survive the upcoming war. Jin-woo was one of these awakened hunters. But because of his fragility and equally terrible equipment and fighting style, he was branded the weakest E-rank hunter in the world. He was almost always close to death, and people didn't like bringing him to their hunting parties because of his natural ability to drag everyone down just by being himself. But because of his closeness to death's embrace, he was chosen by the system. The system was designed by the architect. He came up with this because he realized that a lot of people play video games, and it's the best way to filter their candidates and find the most suitable player. That player was Sung Jin-woo. The architect was against Jin-woo being their candidate because it's quite illogical to choose someone who's always been weak and can never go past their full potential. However, the Shadow Monarch, Ashbourne, had chosen Jin-woo to become his successor. To contain his black heart, giving him half the power of the real Shadow Monarch. We don't get to see an explanation about this until later in the story, when Ashbourne shows himself to Jin-woo when he dies in the battle against the Monarchs. The architect was against choosing Jin-woo as their candidate, but even more so with Jin-woo becoming the real Shadow Monarch. Their plan was to bring the Shadow Monarch through Jin-woo, not the other way around. The Shadow Monarch, seeing Jin-woo's struggles and determination, determined that he's the rightful successor to his power. There's no need for him to come back to the world, as he's also become Sung Jin-woo and Jin-woo become his as well. The Shadow Monarch, Ashbourne, is Jin-woo and Jin-woo is Ashbourne. The architect didn't expect the Shadow Monarch to turn against them, because Ashbourne is their strongest champion against the rulers. Ashbourne's power is so great that it allows them to practically win through stalemate. But after seeing Jin-woo's struggles to do the right thing, even if he's living in the shadow of his own glory, Ashbourne deems it right to give Jin-woo his power at the cost of drawing the ire of all other monarchs. He even locked the architect out of his own system, forcing him out and blocking his administrative powers. Even the immortal body that the architect was granted by him was no match against Sung Jin-woo's power. And so this is the story of the architect, the creator of the player leveling system and the reason for Sung Jin-woo's existence as the strongest hunter of all time. If you'd like to see more videos like this, let us know in the comments down below. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button so you're always updated with our latest uploads.